Hey everybody, this is Eric Hopkins, and welcome to the Jailcast. I'm here to do the review for the WWE TLC pay-per-view event that happened on the WWE Network tonight, and it was from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, on December the 4th, 2016. Pre-show opened up with a 10-man tag match, which involved Apollo Crews, American Alpha, and the Hype Bros against Kurt Hawkins, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains. The first few minutes was a showcase for the good guys until they did a comedy spot where each guy took turns tossing one of their opponents out of the ring. The heels worked over Chad Gable after a network commercial break until Jason Jordan made a hot tag and ran wild. I tell you, he is the spitting image of Kurt Angle. In fact, he hit an Olympic slam, which actually led to a Kurt Angle reference by Mauro Ranallo. The faces all hit moves to clear the ring, allowing American Alpha to pick up the win with the Grand Amplitude on Simon Gotch. I thought it was an okay match. I really feel like American Alpha and Apollo Crews are underutilized, and they're very talented. Some of the other guys in the match are geeks. I really don't like Mojo Rawley. I feel like that Hammer Time move he pulled off was like a bunch of gyrations in the ring. It was really silly. But then again, it's kind of like the People's Elbow or the Five Knuckle Shuffle from John Cena. It's just kind of unnecessary, and it really doesn't do anything other than just try to be a joke. So other than that, I thought the match was okay. Kurt Hawkins came down to the ring with a ring announcer, and he called him Captain Kurt Hawkins, not Captain Kirk, Captain Kurt. He said he was taking his team where no team has gone before. That is a quote. Again, some silly comedy there. It kind of works with Kurt Hawkins' gimmick, being, he's got all the Chuck Norris facts about himself and things like that. So I'll let that one slide a little bit. It was interesting to see him have his own ring announcer and all that. The Ascension, I noticed, is now dressed up as Demolition instead of the Legion of Doom, as they have been dressed up ever since they came up from NXT. So I don't know if they're trying to play into the whole New Day storyline with breaking Demolition's record or not, but that was kind of interesting to see the Ascension dressed up in silver and black. We had a Saturday Night Live promo that showed that John Cena will be hosting the show next Saturday night. So that should be interesting. He's entertaining, so it'll be interesting to see how he does on Saturday Night Live. So I may tune in for that one. Actually, I don't usually watch Saturday Night Live anymore, but I thought that was something that I might be looking forward to. The main show started with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton with Luke Harper versus Heath Slater and Rhino for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Big cheers and Randy chants for the Wyatt family. They even came out to a little new remix version of Randy's old theme and the Wyatt's theme as well, which kind of caught me by surprise. I gotta say that the T-shirt that Heath Slater came down to the ring with the "I Got Kids" on the shirt, that was major buys right there. I tell you, that was one of the better storylines I've seen in a while. It was very entertaining, silly, I know, but that's part of the charm of professional wrestling. Even though I just went off against Mojo Rawley for his silliness, but there's good silly and there's bad silly sometimes, and Mojo Rawley's was definitely not on the good side of it. Okay, this match seemed like a total mismatch to me. I mean, let's just be honest. I don't consider Heath Slater and Rhino to be on the same level at all, or even championship material with, going head to head with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. They should clearly win this match. Rhino started the match, and Mauro Ranallo mentioned this was the first time this team has started that way, where Rhino started the match, and I thought that was kind of interesting, being they lost the titles in the end here. A little spoiler alert there. Let's see, Slater tagged in, and the Wyatts quickly took control. There was a spot in this match that was pretty impressive. I thought that the power slam spot that Randy Orton pulled on Heath Slater as Heath Slater did a slingshot over the top rope was pretty impressive. After Rhino made the hot tag, Randy Orton saved Bray from a shoulder tackle, and Harper saved Orton from a gore on the outside of the ring. Bray distracted Rhino with the crab walk when Orton slid in and suddenly hit an RKO for the win. The Wyatt family are the new tag champs, like I said before, and it had a big crowd pop for that, which crowds always pop for title changes. Match was only about 6 minutes long, but I should mention that Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt let Harper hold the belts after the match. So they all seem to be on the same page, though I got the impression that they are not on the same page. Luke Harper didn't look thrilled, and even Bray Wyatt, when Orton snuck in and got the pin, had this look on his face like, what are you doing, man? Even though Orton was the legal man, because when he shoved Wyatt out of the corner to spare him from the gore, he actually tagged in. So we'll see how that goes. They seem to be setting up a little storyline there, actually. We had a backstage interview with a new interview girl. I don't know who she is, but she's very attractive, with Dean Ambrose. And he says that James Ellsworth is resting at home, keeping his chin up. WWE comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Poor James Ellsworth. Sure, he's a nice guy, but he don't have the wrestling looks, and it's a shame. But anyway, Ambrose would like to say it's an honor getting in the ring with AJ Styles, but Styles likes to take the easy way out, and there's nothing easy about getting hit with a ladder or crashing through a table. And I like how he also made a reference to the Big Boss Man, I believe, when he said, it was a good friend of his once said that tonight will be hard times. I thought that was a great Big Boss Man reference there. Right after that happened, AJ Styles was being interviewed by Renee Young, and he knows exactly what to expect tonight. He admitted that Ambrose can be hard to keep down, but Ambrose will stay down long enough to watch Styles pull down his WWE Championship. Next up was the no disqualification match, Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Nikki won the match with the TKO. Not much of a match, but they had a good crowd heat, actually. Nikki used a disaster kick off the barricade and sprayed a fire extinguisher, actually emptied the entire thing, which had to be cold as all get out for poor Carmella. But anyway, afterwards, Carmella informed Nikki that she wasn't the one who attacked her at Survivor Series, but rather it was Nikki's friend from Total Divas, Natalya. The commentators didn't know how to react to this. JBL even thought it was somebody from Raw, probably, during the Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown feuds. But I don't quite understand why Carmella would rat out Natalya, because they're both kind of heelish characters at this point. But women be crazy. I guess that's WWE's logic on it. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, backstage, the new interview woman asked Daniel Bryan about the upcoming Intercontinental title match. And Bryan said he would like to see Miz lose. And Bryan said it's simply because Ziggler is a better representative of the championship. When Miz interrupted him, and he wished it was Bryan in the ring tonight instead so he could push Bryan off the ladder. And he told Bryan to enjoy the match. Now, they've been doing this little feud between Daniel Bryan and The Miz for a while now. I mean, they've got to be going somewhere with this, right? I know that Daniel Bryan is not physically cleared to compete, but they continue this storyline. It's like they've got to be setting something up. I don't know what it could be if WWE doctors will not allow Daniel Bryan to compete. Maybe they've had a change of heart at that. I've heard that he has been cleared by doctors outside of WWE, but WWE doctors won't clear him for some reason. I get it, concussions and things like that, and he's had neck injuries and all sorts of crazy things, so they're just doing it for his safety, but it's interesting to me how they keep building this feud. Next up was the Intercontinental title ladder match with The Miz and his lovely wife Maurice. Lucky Miz. And he faced Dolph Ziggler, and Maurice remained at ringside, but never really got involved in this match, even though it is no disqualification. Miz placed a ladder on Ziggler in the corner and did the Daniel Bryan running drop kicks, but Dolph Ziggler tossed the ladder at him. Miz smashed Ziggler's knees into the ladder a few times, then wrapped his leg around the ladder and applied the figure 4 leg lock, which looked like it hurt, actually, to be honest with you. Ziggler actually tapped out on the ladder, but of course that doesn't matter in a ladder match. Ziggler fought back and tried a super kick, but his leg gave out, and Miz hit a skull-crushing finale into the ladder. Miz went up the ladder to grab the title, but Ziggler pulled the ladder out, and Miz was left hanging. Dolph Ziggler then smashed the ladder into Miz, who fell down awkwardly on his leg, and it looked like he had a legit injury. I was kind of fooled. And he, if he is injured at all, he sure didn't show it. And I saw him on Talking Smack after the show, and he looked just fine. So, then a one-legged Ziggler tried hopping up the ladder, but Miz caught him and hit a slingshot powerbomb onto a ladder, which was placed between the ropes in the corner of the ring. They set up 2 ladders side by side, and each guy climbed up. Then Ziggler headbutted Miz off the ladder and seemingly had the match won. But Miz jumped up and ran back up the ladder to kick Ziggler twice in the nuts, which Mauro Ranallo referred to this as 2 shots to the peninsula south of the equator, which I absolutely absolutely died. Anyway, yeah, that's Mauro Ranallo for you. And let's be honest, Dolph Ziggler has taken so many losses that kicking him in the nuts is very symbolic of his WWE career thus far. A former World Heavyweight Champion, and what has he done in the last few years? Nothing. He won the Intercontinental title. But before that, he lost and lost and lost and lost and lost. And after he won the Intercontinental title, what happened? He lost again. And now he's lost again and again. I don't care about Dolph Ziggler anymore. Wins and losses should matter in this company, but they don't. But that's just my opinion. Then Ziggler collapsed after he was struck down south, and Miz grabbed the belt to retain the Intercontinental Championship. This match was nothing super spectacular, especially starting out. It was a little slow, but I thought it did pick up some steam. And it ended up being pretty entertaining by the end of it. I believe Miz is one of the best things on SmackDown right now. He absolutely deserves another shot at the Heavyweight Championship. I know he had that small run with the title back around WrestleMania 27, but he has really stepped up his game lately. He has been great on the mic. He's been good in the ring, much better than normal, and he's got good heat, and I think he would be a good candidate for a push. They'd be silly not to do so. Immediately after the match, Miz dedicated his victory to Daniel Bryan and wanted to give Ziggler a participation award. He called Ziggler and everyone in Texas a loser, and said this is what losers do, get participation awards. Next up was the chairs match, Baron Corbin versus Kalisto. Baron Corbin won this match. Kalisto wears short trunks now, apparently, instead of his tights. Baron Corbin had been wearing a t-shirt to wrestle the last few weeks, but not tonight. Corbin set up a bunch of chairs in the ring, which led to Kalisto hitting a seated senton on Corbin onto the chairs, which was a great spot, actually. I love that spot. Kalisto tried to dive to the outside, but Corbin countered into a deep 6. Kalisto came back by hitting a hurricanrana off the barricade and a running dropkick into the barricade. Kalisto tried a move off the top, but Corbin smoked him with a chair, which looked like it sucked, and hit the end of days on a pile of chairs for the win. And then Corbin berated the announcers, mainly Mauro Ranallo, after the match. I don't know what his deal is with the announcers. I guess he was just fired up and was like, I don't know. Backstage, the unnamed interview woman from earlier on asked Natalya about Carmella's accusation, and Natalya wished Becky Lynch luck on her match tonight, calling her a great representative of the division, and then she blew off Carmella's accusation and called her a liar. So it's hard telling what they're doing with this storyline right now. I don't quite know yet, so it'll be interesting to see where they go. Then coming up next was the Women's Championship Tables match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, that is. Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch. Another title change. Alexa Bliss won this title. I didn't expect that. Not this soon, especially. I do like Alexa Bliss. I think she's very talented. I love how they call her the Harley Quinn of the WWE. That's kind of just me being, my comic book nerd coming out of me. The crowd liked Becky Lynch, but it wasn't much of a match thanks to the table gimmick. They fought on the apron when Bliss slipped out and powerbombed Lynch through a table on the outside. The still unnamed interview woman tried to interview Becky Lynch afterwards, but Becky told her that she didn't appreciate having a microphone shoved in her face right now, so Becky Lynch is playing Cam Newton from the Carolina Panthers. Nothing against Cam Newton or the Panthers. They're a great team. They're having a bad year. But she didn't blame the interviewer, but Becky Lynch was clearly upset at herself, and really, if you just lost the title, you should be, so that's good selling on her part. I like that. The WWE Championship TLC match was our main event. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. Both guys got strong reactions from the crowd, but AJ Styles comes off like a superstar, and let's face it, he's one of the best guys working at WWE today. There was a point during the match where AJ Styles worked over Ambrose, and an AJ chant broke out. Among the highlights of the match were Dean Ambrose suplexing AJ Styles on top of a bunch of chairs, where AJ Styles took a crazy flip bump, and Ambrose putting a ladder on top of the announce table to hit a diving elbow on AJ Styles through another announce table. That was interesting to put that big of a ladder up on the announce table like that. That could have been very dangerous had that ladder slipped. But they pulled it off and it went off without a hitch. Before any of that happened, a hole ripped in AJ Styles' tights, and let's just call it an unfortunate area. Dean Ambrose went up the ladder, but AJ Styles nailed him with a phenomenal forearm. They fought back and forth for a while until Dean Ambrose used an airplane spin to splat AJ Styles into the ladder. Eventually, AJ Styles placed Dean Ambrose on a table outside the ring and proceeded to hit a crazy springboard 450 splash through the table, which got some chance of holy S from the crowd. AJ Styles began climbing the ladder when a zombie-looking James Ellsworth, wearing a full neck brace, began walking to the ring. AJ Styles immediately attacked him and set up for the Styles Clash off the steel steps, but Dean Ambrose intercepted and hit AJ Styles with the Dirty Deeds on the steps. So Dean saved James Ellsworth. Keep that in mind just a second. Dean Ambrose had the match won. He knocked AJ Styles off the ladder and had his hand on the belt. On the belt. When the geek, the nerd, the jobber, the guy that JBO can't stand, James Ellsworth, yes, James freaking Ellsworth, suddenly pushed the ladder, and Dean Ambrose crashed outside the ring through two tables on the mat. With Dean knocked out, supposedly, even though the camera got right in his face, and you could clearly see he was just had his wide eyes open and blinking. I kind of wish Dean would have sold this better. He could have had his eyes closed, making it look like it really had an effect. AJ Styles slowly climbed the ladder and grabbed the belt for the win. It was a great match. A lot of action, a lot of drama, and the nice twist at the end with James Ellsworth. I guess a heel turn, or just we don't know what's going on. So the question going into SmackDown on Tuesday will be, why Ellsworth? Why? The classic why so-and-so why. So it'll be interesting. My only guess is he has said that he obviously Ellsworth is getting a WWE Championship match from beating AJ Styles 3 times now. So I'm guessing maybe he feels that he's got a better shot against AJ because he's beat him 3 times already, even though they've all been pretty well flukes. Yeah, so maybe he just felt that was the issue, or maybe he didn't like the way Dean tried to throw him out of the building one of those nights not too long back, or who knows. I guess we'll get an explanation in the days to come. All right, well, there you have it, everybody. That's my TLC review / recap for WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, please comment, like, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Eric Gel. And until next time, God bless.